Hello, everybody. Welcome to hrtech's Demo Hour, March 2024 edition, organized by hrtech and powered by RChilli. RChilli is incidentally the trusted partner for parsing, matching, and data enrichment for many corporations globally. Our singular goal has always been to create a tech-driven and a data-centric HR ecosystem for driving successful workplace and talent transformation that will enable organizations to grow and HR teams to become strategic HR partners. Before that, a quick overview of us. We are a Singapore-headquartered hrtech market development and analyst firm. We were set up in 2018 in Singapore. Since then, we have expanded to India and the Middle East to help HR teams identify tech solutions for their business and HR challenges. Application of technology across the employee lifecycle. Technology has revolutionized every phase of the employee lifecycle, enhancing HR processes across the board. From talent planning and acquisition to engagement and development, technology streamlines operations. The Demo Hour series. hrtech embarked on the hrtech Demo Hour event series in 2019 to evangelize and promote the use of HR technologies. The event provides a platform for HR technology providers to showcase their high-tech solutions, aiding the adoption of HR tech. The event motto has always been to showcase demos and not presentations. After the onset of pandemic, we have moved from an in-person to an on-demand webinar format. We have done various demos focused on leveraging tech for university hiring, R&R for the hybrid workforce, conversational AI in HR, leveraging tech for talent development, and many more. And today we are here to present leveraging tech for enhanced talent screening and assessments. We are thrilled that as part of our expert HR panel to witness the demos and clarify questions on behalf of the many HR professionals, we have Nikhil Dutt, Head of Talent Acquisition, Carousel, and we have Brokee and Pmaps presenting their demos today. To present the demos, we have Mayam from Brokee and Bansi from Pmaps. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the session. Over to you, Mayam from Brokee.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Maxim Lushpenko. I'm founder of Brokee, and we provide technical skill assessments to make your hiring process faster and easier. And I've been an engineer myself for more than 10 years. I've been managing websites, making sure that all websites and mobile apps were running nice and smoothly for customers. And it's very demanding and stressful job because you are responsible for a lot of stuff and you have access to all IT systems of your company. So when you work in this kind of job, you want to make sure that you have high quality talent in your team. And I've been through the hiring process a lot with my teammates, and it's very hard to find good people and to make sure that whoever is joining your team can start performing on your job from day one. So after going through this process many times, I decided to develop Brokee, which stands for Broken Environments. And the core idea is to provide engineers during the hiring process with a broken website or some broken application and give them access to it and to see if they can fix it to showcase their skills. So imagine if you're a hiring manager and you want to hire a DevOps engineer, usually what you would look for some keywords. So if you go to the Brokee website, you can see a library of different test skill assessments. And you can choose some keywords for specific technology that your company is using or specific roles that you're hiring for. And you can choose some skill assessments based on that. So it's pretty easy. But I'll actually show how it looks because so today we are having a demo. So after logging in on, if you're a hiring manager, you log into our website, and the first thing that you can do, you can either see how our platform works in action, or you can directly invite candidates to start tests. But first, let me show you how the platform works for candidates to assess candidates during the hiring process. So every candidate, they get some technical task when they sign up on our platform, and it's usually a broken application. For instance, if I click here, you see some websites that's it cannot be opened. It's broken. It just doesn't work. So the candidate that starts the technical assessment, they need to read this description, understand system architecture, understand what has to be done, and then they actually get access to cloud environment. So if you ever, let me log in with username and password. So this is a username and password, this one. So if you ever, so this is a technical demo. If you ever worked with cloud technologies, you usually get access to something like this, where you need to create servers, networks. You have like to do a lot of technical configuration to make sure that your website is up and running. Yeah, engineers get access to their like typical working environment, like they will be getting access when they are working, and they need to fix different problems. So in this example, like we have EC, one second, just different region. So we have some two servers running, and the engineer needs to figure out how to configure this server so everything is working correctly. And at the end of the test, if they do everything correctly, they should be able to click on this link and it should be working. So this is like super practical, real world example of how engineers work, and we provide this experience to candidates during the hiring process. So this is example with cloud environments, and another example is with like single server, where engineers typically work on in terminal, which looks kind of like this, and they type some commands, and they work with system in this manner. So it's a similar idea. It's just different kind of problems that engineers have to fix. But in both cases, it's super practical. We just want to make sure that whoever joins your team, that they can prove that they know how to work with systems. And if they join your team tomorrow, they will start helping the team, and you don't have to spend time training them or like explaining how things work, because you will get a proof that they actually know how to work with systems. So this is the part what candidates see, like the hiring candidates. But now what you will see as a hiring manager is basically you get reports. So here are a few examples. So here is example of successful test. You can see that the candidate fixed all the problems. You can see what automated checks. So all our systems are completely automated. So whenever you go through the hiring process, your engineers don't have to spend time checking the work of candidates, but they will get an automated report which basically tells them everything the candidate did, how they performed. And in this case, we also provide a AI summary of candidate performance. So we basically track candidate activity, what actions they perform in the system, how they fix problems, and we give this summary to the hiring manager so they can see exactly what commands they were using, what tools they know, and how they interact with system. So you can whoever on the team can look at this and get understanding of how advanced the candidate is. In addition to that, we provide the video recording. So I was showing you that this is like a working environment that engineers typically work in. So we also do the recording of that, and you can just click through and see at any point of time what the engineer was doing and how they were fixing a specific problem. So this gives like multiple levels of understanding of how potential engineers that will be joining your team, how they can perform on daily work and how they solve problems. Another example that I wanted to share is that for many of our tests, we have dynamic tests, which means that every candidate that takes, for instance, this kind of test, which looks like some system architecture, in reality, every candidate will have a different set of problems, because we have developed algorithms that dynamically generate a random set of problems every time you start a test. So this is like a very innovative way to have anti-cheating mechanisms, because you don't need to like record I know to see what tabs they're open to prevent them from Googling. We actually encourage students to not students but candidates to use Google or to use ChatGPT or whatever they need to solve a problem, because our product is about replicating real life problems, and in real life it's normal for engineers to just Google, to use ChatGPT, whatever they need to use to solve problems. So we wanted to replicate this experience in our like skill assessment tool, and this is basically what we provide. So in this example, we have tests for Azure. Is not one of the major cloud providers from Microsoft. So we can see that there is like specific problems that were presented in the test, and then automated checks that were performed. So you can see here that the candidate fixed part of the problem, but not all of it. And then it's the same as before, AI generated summary of performance, which basically shows what exactly the candidate was doing, what fixes they were doing in the system to get application back to life. So these are a few mechanisms, basically how you can confidently verify skills of engineers. But this is not only for hiring. Our tool has been used also for training of engineers inside the team. So let's say you get someone new on the team, or maybe you want people to come from one. Let's say if you have IT consultancy, and you get a new client, and they wanted to like quickly to get some engineers. So instead of like going through like very long training, you can get those engineers and send them like 5-10 tests on our platform. They can quickly go through these different problems, train their skills, and be very quickly ready to jump on whatever project you have, if it's related like to IT infrastructure, and because this is our specialty. So we don't do programming tests or skill assessments. We specifically focus on like system engineers, DevOps, cloud, IT support, those kind of roles that need to work with system configurations. They don't do programming. They make sure the system runs smoothly, and like everyone is happy. So another thing for hiring managers, that once you have all of this, so let's say I showed how our systems are working, how skill assessments are working. Now a little bit more about invitation flows. So when you invite candidates, it's pretty easy. You just provide email, LinkedIn optional if you want, and you choose one of the available tests. And we have this, do you see like this dice? So this indicates those dynamic tests where for every candidate you will have different set of problems. So we keep expanding our library. In this case, like this single test will have around 12,000 variations. So it's like super safe to send this to as many candidates as possible, because every one of them will get the different set of problems to work with. So this is like one way to invite candidates. But we also developed another. If you work with a lot of candidates, let's say you need to invite 100 of them, it will be very time consuming to click the same button like 100 times. So to fix that problem, we provided another way to have onboarding flow, where let's say you're hiring for a specific role, you put a job title, you choose one of the available tests, and then you can say that you want like 50 candidates to go through this. So this way you can control your budget, and you can also, you don't have to worry. You can invite many candidates in parallel, because the only things that you will get, you just create this link, and it's a self onboarding in the flow. So you can share this link with, let's say, 100 people at the same time with a single email, and they will all register themselves, and you don't have to worry about like that you have to do it manually for each candidate. Another thing that we added here is expiration dates, that just to make sure that, let's say, your hiring process, you expect that you will hire someone within like 1 or 2 months. So you can put the expiration date like for 2 months, and then in case something happens, you forgot that you send this link to 100 people, they won't be, after 2 months pass, like they won't be able to register for your hiring process, because like it's done, it's finished. So this is about inviting candidates, and another thing is about reporting. So once you start having some people going through your hiring or training process, you will get a dashboard which basically shows you how many candidates succeeded, failed, or were invited total. And then we will show you how much money and time your company saves by using Brokee. Because how we calculate this data, we basically take these numbers and we multiply it by hourly rate of engineers that are involved in the hiring process. And this thing is configurable. So let's say if you go to settings, you can say, depending on your company specifics, let's say your engineers get like paid, I don't know, $50 per hour. And usually in your hiring process, you have one interview. So you can put your personal details about your specific hiring process here, and you will get customized dashboard that will show exactly your time and money saved through using Brokee. Another important thing is to understand our pricing model. We charge companies based on started tests. So let's say you can invite 100 or 200 candidates, doesn't matter, but not all of them. So let's say in this example, you can see that candidate was invited, but they haven't started the test. So you pay only for tests that actually have been started. Like when I click here start test and or here and I have environment running. So this you will pay for this, but not for just people you invite. And we have a credit system. So let's say whatever you buy, it stays on your credit balance and it doesn't expire. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, oh, maybe this month I didn't hire anyone, and I'm still paying for the product. So you don't need to worry for that because everything that you paid for, it stays with you in these credits. So let's say if maybe 3 to 5 months you were just paying for the product, but you are not actually not using it, you will get accumulated credits. And then let's say next month you get a lot of candidates that needs to go because you got new budget for hiring, then you will use all of this accumulated credits. So our pricing is like super flexible. And yeah, we just try to make sure that no matter what's your hiring process, you will still be happy with our product and you won't feel like you wasted money. And in terms of billing, we have like you can prepay for specific tests, like some 10, 20, 100 tests, or you can buy a monthly subscription. And with a subscription, you get like 2 tests per month added to your balance every month. But you can also use more, so you're not limited with just 2 tests. So if you keep using more, then it's a tiered pricing. So the more you use, the cheaper it gets. And you will see this on your billing page. So let's say if you start using, you use, I don't know, 5 credits, you will see like upcoming bill. So you will always be in control and know how much you're spending on our software, and it's all like yeah, easy and manageable from your side. So yeah, we started the company. We started the company specifically for hiring needs, but we are getting more and more clients that are focused on training of their teams. It can be training of, let's say, interns that join your team. It can be training of experienced engineers that are moving from one project to another, or it could be software engineers that decided to acquire cloud skills and know how to work with systems. So there are multiple ways how you can use our product, and it's up to you. It's all about skills development and skill validation. So at this point, I think I'll stop and maybe you have some questions.
Thank you, Maxim, for that insightful demo. Over to you, Nikhil, for your Q&A.
Hey, Maxim, just a couple of questions. Product looks great. Where is the company headquartered?
In US, in Delaware.
Okay, and where is the support provided from?
From US and Ukraine.
Okay, so you don't have follow the sun model.
No, we are too small for that. We don't have. We are less than 10 people, so we don't do 24/7 support yet. Okay. Honestly, it happens 24/7 just because Ukraine is like 10-hour difference. So my teammates are working while I'm sleeping, and then the other way around. So it's in a way it kind of works like that already, but it's not official on paper.
Got it. Okay. So typically, if I compare this to the traditional tests which are there, the filtering technical tests which are there, this is obviously more value added and slightly different. But at what stage would you recommend these tests should be used for filtration? Because traditionally, at the top of the funnel, when you have, say, a recruiter shortlist, say 30 candidates, and puts them into the top of the funnel, you'd run a technical test, and out of the 30, you may get 6 or 7, and then you take them through the loop after that. Your cost is quite high. I mean, it's $90 odd for 2 tests. I mean, obviously, you can't give it to 30 people. So what's your recommendation? At what stage should these tests be given for the best results?
That's a great question. So with clients that we work so far, they usually actually use it like almost in the very beginning. And let's say if you even though you have 30 people, what we see in practice, do you see, let's say there are 170 people invited, but only like 89, almost 90 people that actually took tests. So half in this example. So what we see happening that people get this invitation and then they read the description of the test and they are like, oh wow, this is way over my head. I'm not doing this. Candidates often they just get sort of scared and like if they are not qualified. So far we've seen it worked best in the very beginning. It could be depending on the company, either like immediately or maybe after the first call, because some companies want to have like more human touch and let's say check maybe English first. So some companies first have a short call, maybe 5-10 minutes call, and then send a test. But in reality, it doesn't end up with like, I mean, maybe if you're a super big company, it could be different. But usually you don't get as many candidates as that actually takes the test. And in terms of the size of the companies, it kind of depends on your, what do you say, risk appetite. So let's say if you can afford, I don't know, if you can afford to hire some bad hire, you know, you hire someone and it's not working out, you can, I don't know, decide to just do the old way of not doing any assessment at all, but just having normal conversation. But we've actually had this used both with the startups where you have only a few people and they don't have enough budget. So if they do a hiring mistake, it's like game over for a startup. Yep. But we also seen it used by big IT consultancy companies where they have departments, so like bigger infrastructure departments, and they just use within the department because they have like a lot of candidates. They just want high quality consultants and stuff like that. So it's like I would say it depends on how innovative your company is and how much you care about quality of your candidates.
Got it. So just one other question pertaining to the first part that you mentioned, that there may be some candidates who may look at this and say they don't want to do it. So you have some high caliber headhunted candidates who are like, look, I have multiple opportunities. Why should I waste 2 hours doing this when in another company I just go through a loop and I get a job? So there could be a possibility of losing some great candidates this way also, because with the traditional tests, which I'm using at the moment, I've got on an average 80% of the candidates will take the test. That's the number we have. I mean, 80 to 84% is the number we are trending at the moment. We keep a tab on that. And we make sure that the candidates who are tier 1, who are headhunted, who are the best, at least they take the test, we do the convincing. But here, if this seems a bit too tough, is there a possibility of losing some candidates? Have you had that experience with some of your clients?
I've heard that. But I've heard that as a basically like you described it, it could happen, but I haven't had much happening in specifically with our product, just because usually once I tell them, like once they realize that it's kind of very practical that they can go into AWS system or something, they usually see it as a fun experience because like I think there are only a few providers who do this kind of stuff, so usually candidates get kind of excited about this, but it's possible. And in those cases, so we had some clients that used our the typical way to use it is like, you know, send a test, get results. But we had clients that use it in real time. So instead of like sending it and saying like, give me results, they start interview process. And then during the hiring process, they say like, okay, start it right now. And then they don't ask candidates to spend, let's say, a full hour and fix everything, but they just say like, let's spend 10 minutes and like fix maybe 1 or 2 problems. So this is usually enough to understand if the candidates have understanding how to work with the environment. And so this is kind of alternative approach if you don't care about like 100% result, but you just want a quick check if they know where to look and what to click. So this could be another alternative. Yeah.
Got it. Any success stories to share? Any of your clients where you've had tremendous success, and also any follow through parameters? That means the hires have been made. Any follow through in terms of performance or rating or something to showcase that this product helps get some absolutely fabulous people?
So we have on our, if you go on blog Brokee.io, we have multiple case studies with technical recruitment agencies and with cybersecurity startup, and we are now working also with IT Academy. So case in terms of success is, so for cybersecurity company, we started working with DevOps department. And we got some great hires there, and they stayed for like months after that. And the company is very happy with that. And they were so happy that they expanded collaboration to their IT support team. So it's completely different department, but IT support, they just help their clients. It's enterprise software, and they help enterprise clients to manage like their software they sell. So this was a success story of expanding within the same company. For technical recruitment agencies, we see some of them, let's say they were working with software engineers, and they didn't have enough knowledge for like DevOps and cloud because it's kind of a different subset of technologies. So with Brokee, they were enabled. They basically expanded their business just because they didn't have confidence or skills at all before, and our technology allows them to start working with clients that wanted DevOps and cloud engineers. So yeah, those are few, but we are still young company in terms of so we only have a few case studies at this point.
Got it. Okay, last two quick questions. How often are the assessments reviewed and updated?
We do it like at least once a year we review it, and but generally it's based on it's not based on theoretical questions. So that is based on how often Amazon, let's say, updates their technology or stuff like that. And Amazon released a ton of new services, but the core functionality like networking service it stays pretty stable. So there is no need like in typical skill assessments that you would do where you have theoretical questions, you need to keep updating it. In this example, it's completely different, especially because I showed you this example about randomness. That was here. So we have like 12,000 variations of the same test. So there is like basically no need to do it like let's say by adding a few more problems, our numbers just grow dramatically in terms of test variations.
Okay, all right. A couple of other key things. Do you normally work with the hiring managers, or do the hiring managers work with the system, or do the recruiters work with the system? Because I see this is quite technical. So it's important to figure out if the recruiters can manage this part, or it has to be through the technical hiring managers.
It's so it's funny because we had both. So when we just started, our HR lady, she was sending invitations. So she just knew like which test. Let's say our DevOps team would say we want AWS networking test, and she would be just going and clicking buttons and sending invitations and getting results. But generally, hiring managers would make more sense because hiring managers, as you said, the product is more technical. And the only thing that we try to make it more friendly for recruiters is by providing the things that I was showing about like a summary of performance, where we like in human description, we describe what the test is about. And also when you invite and you choose a test, the description here is much more like brought down, much simplified than what you actually get here. So we took that, we actually had that feedback that the recruiters wanted like easier level of understanding. So we have multiple levels of like explaining what the test environment is about. So here we just say for which roles, for which keywords recruiters can use, and some basic understanding. And for engineers, we actually give like full-fledged description of what has to be done.
Got it. Okay, last question. Does this system talk to any ATS? Is there a bridge provided with the ATS? Can we run this through an ATS, or this is a standalone system?
We have API, so you can use API, and we are planning to develop specific integrations to different ATS, but at this point it's API, so you can just integrate it through Zapier or whatever you need.
All right, perfect. I think that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Masam.
for-
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for this insightful session. Over to you, Bansi, for your 15-minute session.
Thank you, Vanshita.
Okay,
Good morning, everyone.
thanks so much.
Thank you, Makam. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Mr. Nikhil. I am the revenue head function at Pmaps, and I've been in the hrtech platform and a practitioner since a lot of years. Pmaps is a hrtech SaaS platform, and it helps us to improve your hiring outcomes. We are a Series A company, and we were backed by Google. Now, unlike the other text assessments, we are very quick and fun and a language agnostic platform, assessment platform. I'll just share my screen with you and help you understand better how we can help you with the assessments. So the normal problem, whatever an HR practitioner in any company faces, is they have to go through a lot of applications whenever a job is posted. And there are, for every job posting that they do, they have to at least undergo at least 50 to 70 interviews for every job posting. Now, there can be a probability that through all these job posting and through all the hires that we are doing, there are 50% probability that these are bad hires. What we do at Pmaps is we are removing all the hiring woes that are generally faced by the HR practitioners. The main attractions, the people whom we are attracting towards the workforce right now are the millennials and the Gen Z. So they are the new entrants to the workforce. Every job application has lots of job applicants that come in for all the frontline jobs. And the face-to-face interviews are mainly biased. I mean, the interview time takes around 35 minutes, and the reliability of this interview is less than 50%. At Pmaps, we'll help you improve your hiring outcomes through very quick and engaging assessments. The traditional assessments that are there in the market right now, they are text-based and read-only. And Pmaps, we can give you an image-based and a language-agnostic assessment platform. The traditional assessments are generally made for the white-collar employees. They were generally made when hiring for the leadership levels or above VP levels. But with the Pmaps assessment, what we've designed, they are designed for everyone, both for white-collar and blue-collar employees. Our assessments are, we generally focus on the non-tech assessment part. And our assessments are very quick and fun to take. It does not take more than 10-15 minutes for the candidate to complete the test. And what happens through these assessments is we get better completion rate. So, Mr. Nikhil, the main woe that, or the main problem that you must be facing is when you're giving an assessment to some candidate, and there can be chances that the candidate might not complete the assessment. So we get better completion rates when you're giving these language agnostic and image-based assessments to the candidate. Now it goes into a flow. Whenever you are hiring candidates through the assessments, the first thing that you do is you screen the applicants and you quickly give them this assessment, which is a 10 to 15 minute assessment. You select them on the score that they're getting based on the psychometric profiling of these candidates according to the job roles that you're hiring them for. You call them for an interview, and we also provide you with easy integrations through all your HRMS and ATS systems. So when I was talking about the image-based assessment, the yellow figure that we are seeing here on screen is the USP for Pmaps. This is the hero for Pmaps, the protagonist in all our assessments. The yellow figure is placed in different situations throughout the assessment in the personality profiler assessment, which is also called a psychometric assessment. The yellow figure is placed in different situations. The candidate has to relate himself to this yellow figure and answer the questions according to his perception. Now, when you look at this assessment, these look very fun, very engaging, and the candidate feel like they look very gamified. So the candidate will not get bored while answering these assessments. You get good answers, you get very reliable and authentic answers when you give them an image to look at and answer. There will be images according to the different job profiles for which we've created the personality profiler assessments. And all our psychometric assessments are based on the Big Five model. Now, our assessments are cloud-based. The candidate will just get a link on his mobile phone or on his email as an SMS or an email. And he can just click on the link and start taking the test. He just has to put in his email address, register, and start taking the test. There is no need for you to send out a password or a login details to the candidate. These assessments can also be proctored. So if you're sending out these tests to the candidate who's sitting remotely and you want to find out whether he's giving this test genuinely, is he cheating while giving the test? Is he switching the window while taking the test? These can be recorded as logs. And we can also help you with image-based proctoring and video-based proctoring. So the video-based proctoring will also record the audio when the candidate is giving, whether he is giving it genuinely, is somebody prompting him from behind, those things can be recorded while the assessment is going on. Now, along with these psychometric assessments, we can also help you with any kind of skill assessments if you want to measure. So we can help you with language skills. We can help you with an email writing skill, a chatting skill. So these skills can be measured along with the psychometric assessments. We've been there in the industry since the past 11 years, and we were incubated in Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TIS, in Mumbai. We are head officed in Mumbai, and we've got offices in Delhi and in Dubai. We've been working with companies in various industries so far for various kinds of profiles and various kinds of hirings that they do at different job levels. So we worked with companies in the FMCG segment, in consumer durables, in BFSI, in telecom, so in pharmaceutical companies as well. And majority of these companies have been using our assessment for their frontline hiring. However, we've also helped with leadership hirings. We've helped with lateral hirings, all kinds of job levels and all kinds of job profiles. So the major benefits that you get by using the image-based assessments is, one is the monetary benefit that you get. You improve your customer satisfaction score because you're hiring the right kind of customer service person for your company. You improve your sales score, the sales productivity, because you're hiring the right kind of salesperson. You get a good payback period in less than 6 months because the kind of hirings that you're doing, you get good benefits out of it. You get a better process improvement. You get, the one-to-one meetings and achievements that you have to do, that the HR has to do with every candidate, that can be reduced. You can also use this assessment not only for hiring, but for your internal learning and development purpose as well. And whenever an HR is hiring some candidate, they have to give an evidence or decision making. Why have they decided on hiring? So this is a scientifically backed that the HR will be able to back their hiring decision on. Now, our assessments are completely developed in-house. We've got organizational psychologists and industrial psychologists who are working with us. Our platform is developed within the team by the IT team that we have, and it is completely owned by Pmaps. Our psychometric framework is backed by NPPA. Now, these are some of the behavioral assessments that we have developed so far. According to the different job profiles, so every job profile will obviously have different kind of competencies or behavioral traits that are required. So every job profile we have covered under our behavioral assessment, and every job level. So hiring from a frontline person to a team leader to a leadership level, we can help you with all kinds of job profiles and all kinds of job level hirings. Under the language and cognitive assessments, when you're talking about language assessments, we can help you with both a verbal communication and a non-verbal communication kind of an assessment, where you can ask the candidate to record their voices, record their answers. So voice and accent assessment, speaking assessment, listening assessment can be provided. Along with that, basic cognitive assessments like logical reasoning, general intelligence, quantitative analysis can be given. And when you give them a non-verbal assessment, we can help you with an email assessment and a chat assessment, if required. So these assessments, to sum it up, we can give it to you for both pre-hiring as well as for post-hiring. For pre-hiring, we can help you with different assessments like managerial or psychometric assessment, the voice and accent assessment, sales, customer service, cognitive, aptitude assessment. And post-hiring, we can help you with identifying the team leader. We also have a high potential identifier assessment. We have skill assessments, employability assessments. The post-hiring assessments will mainly help you with the learning and development of the existing employees, a basic behavioral nudge, employee surveys, recognitions, and discussions within the team. Yes, I'm open for questions. Any questions so far?
Do you have a sample report that you can share?
Sure.
Maybe something for sales if possible.
Sure. So this is how our platform looks like. I'll just quickly pull up a sales assessment and I'll show you the report. So this is how our report will look like. The report will give you a brief overview of the email of the candidate, or you've asked the phone number of the candidate, how much time the candidate took while taking the test, what is the total attempt that the candidate has done while giving the test. This is just a demo report that I'm showing you. The overall score of the candidate, the behavioral score of the candidate. Now here we've just added the behavioral section. If required, we can add the other sections as well, cognitive, the different other sections like skills or voice and accent sections. Just a minute.
This would cover skills also, because if you're doing a salesperson, for instance, you do want to know what the traits are, whether it's a hunter or a farmer, and what are the specific areas the person's good at. Because I've used some other tests in the past for sales, and quite elaborative, because I've hired salespeople myself, quite elaborative. The results were pretty good. So just wanted to check with you, is that possible with this?
Yes, it is. So the behavioral report will help us understand different competencies of the candidate in detail. So these are the 13 competencies that we look at when we're hiring somebody for a sales development role. So these are the 13 competencies that we are measuring through this assessment. And the 13 competencies will also help us, we'll give you a detailed description. So for example, just to take one, effective communication, what effective communication actually means and why this person, Bansi, has scored low on effective communication is what is seen here. Similarly, for grit and persistence, for influencing skills. So every competency that we are measuring, we'll give you a detailed description and the description of the score of why this person has scored low, average, or high in the competencies.
And do you have a recommendation at the end?
Yes. So in fact, in this particular, I'll show you one which has the strengths and areas of improvement of the candidate. So this is how the report looks like. We have not switched on the button in the sales assessment. It can be easily done. So for all our psychometric assessments, whenever we're giving you recommendations, we'll give you the strengths of the candidate and the areas of improvement, which areas the candidate has to improve in. So this is how the report flow will go. You will get recommendations, and these reports are easily downloadable in PDF format. And also you will get a detailed description. So we'll get a response style. You will also understand whether the candidate has given the test genuinely or no. So you'll get a genuinity score. And along with the descriptors, we also have a small section, an extra kind of a section, which will help you with the suggestions for the recruiter. So the behavioral interview questions can also be given. So these can be certain suggested scripts and basic guidelines for the interviewer. So these can be like annexures, and all these reports can be downloaded in PDF format.
Got it. Is this can this be integrated with an ATS or
Yes.
is it standalone?
No. It can be integrated with HRMS and ATS systems. We have open APIs for that, and my IT team will be able to help the companies to do that.
Okay. And any recent case studies from your end where, especially for bulk hiring in sales or customer service, if you take any success stories there?
We've been working with Vodafone Idea since a very long time. I think since 2016-17, we've been working with them, and they've improved their customer service part by around 68% is one of the case study. Also for Max Life Insurance, the sales assessment that they've taken for us, they've improved or increased the sales productivity by approximately 42 to 45%. In the past 2 to 3 years that we worked with them.
Okay. And the tests are only in English, or if we're looking at, say, customer service for Indonesia or Philippines or Malaysia, and we want it in, say, Bahasa Indonesia or Bahasa Malay or Filipino, or would that be possible?
Yes, it is possible. In fact, we've created a test recently in Spanish language for one of our companies in Bangalore. Also, if required, we can also create it in Indian local languages. So we've already created in 21 different Indian local languages. And because these are language agnostic assessments, there'll be just a one-liner and the image shown to the candidate. So it is very easy for the team to translate it in any language.
Got it. And what's the costing for this?
Approximately $5
Per test?
per test per candidate. So the
Okay.
platform can be accessed by as many users from the team as required. How many ever assessments are taken from us, only those are chargeable.
Okay, got it. And specific tests, say, for example, how data savvy a person is, for instance. And as in current times, obviously, that's a big area where organizations want people who are quite data savvy. Do you have any specific in those areas?
Yes, we have created assessments, you're analyzing the skills of the candidate. So if for hiring somebody who is a data savvy person, you need to understand whether they have good attention to detail in them. The cognitive skills, do they have the good logical reasoning in them? So those kind of aptitude tests can also be provided, and they can be given as a flow. So along with the behavioral assessment. So if you want to hire somebody, you want to understand their behavioral part, and also you want to understand whether they have the skills in them. So both these can be clubbed together and given as just one assessment to the candidate.
Okay, got it. What's the USP for this product? Because again, there are a lot of non-tech assessments which are floating around. I mean, in my 25-year career, I've used quite a few. So what's the USP for this?
The major USP is our assessments are completely image-based, the behavioral assessments especially. And if you have time, can I take you through one of the behavioral assessment?
Sure.
I mean, you'll just have a brief idea how the assessment actually looks like. The user platform is also very user-friendly. You can just copy the link and share it with the candidates via SMSs, or you could also sell bulk invites to the candidates. The candidate will put in his email address, register, he'll be taken to the basic test instructions page. He can take the test through any browser, through any device. He'll just put in his basic details, and the basic consent from the candidate will be taken. Now, this is a personality profiler test. Now, as I told you earlier, there can be two, three sections added in the same test. So along with the personality profiler, we can also add skill assessments, a basic voice and accent assessment, or an aptitude assessment if required.
The additional assessments, would those be chargeable or they'd be part of the $5?
They'll be part of the $5. So the major USP for Pmaps is our assessments are completely image-based. So the candidate is not judged whether he's right or wrong. It's completely based on the perception of the candidate. Every candidate or every person will have different kind of competencies. So whenever the candidate is trying to relate himself to this yellow figure, we are just going to measure his perception and the behavioral traits that the candidate has. And is he suitable enough for that particular job role that we are hiring him for? And the image will be shown and there'll be MCQs for the candidate to answer. So the one of the major USP that comes to my mind right now is the candidate, even if there are 52 questions within the assessment, the candidate will not take more than 10 minutes. In comparison to that, when you give them a text-based assessment with around 52 questions, they might either not complete the test or they might not give the test genuinely. So you get very less completion rates and very socially desirable answers when you give them text-based assessments. But when you give them image-based assessments, you get authentic answers. You get the candidate can complete the test within 10 minutes, and it looks very gamified for them to complete it. You get better completion rates. So when I'm showing you this assessment here right now, depending on the answer that you're giving me, can you just choose one of the answers for me here? You're the main character, just like me. And depending on the answer that you've given on the first answer that you've given, depending on that, the second image comes up. So the images are not static. They become very dynamic as soon as you start the test. And depending on your answers, the next question comes up. So as you see, we've just completed 5 to 6, and in not more than 2 minutes is what it takes for the candidate to complete 10 questions. So we completed 10 questions, and the assessments can be easily translated into any language that you require. You're the main character in yellow color, to what extent you relate to the character's reaction, and the MCQs. Only these have to be translated, and they can be easily done. And the reports are also get generated in real-time basis. So as soon as I finish the test here, you don't have to wait for the report. The HR can go to the dashboard, pull up the report immediately, and find out whether the candidate is a good candidate or not a good candidate to go ahead. And we can see the report. We can see the areas of improvement and the strengths of the candidate. Yes, Mr. Nikhil. Any other doubts?
Nope, I think we're good. No other questions from my side.
Okay.
Anishta.
Sure. Thank you so much, Bansi. Thank you so much, Nikhil. Coming to an end of Demo R 2024 March edition, where we showcase tools that help enhance our talent screening assessments. I'd like to extend my special thanks to Nikhil for his time and effort, and the entire team of Brokee and Pmaps for accepting our invite and showcasing these demos. Extending our gratitude to RChilli for always helping us and supporting us throughout the series. Thank you so much. We'd love to host you soon.